With Smartwater, you have that first stage as distillation stage, right? So
Okay.
essentially what distillation means is you're taking the water from the city, exactly the same as tap water, and then you're boiling it. And then you're condensing that vapor into another vessel or another tank. And that's
Okay.
essentially your purification step. So distillation is just boiling it, collecting that steam, and putting it in a different tank. The
Okay.
advantages of doing that is that you obviously kill all the germs and the bacteria in the water, and you,
Uh-huh.
you would remove any impurities that the water may have had because everything is turning into
Right.
vapor, and then you're collecting it on the other side.
This is similar to what, all our parents or like anyone in um I guess it's called third world countries, I guess. They're doing it, right? They get their water, they
Developing
boil
countries,
it.
please. This is an old terminology. Developing countries.
Di- Sorry, I retract that. Yes, developing countries, they'll boil it, they'll let it cool, put it in the I don't know, jug or something. So I get that. Okay, good.
And
I
even,
got it. Distilled.
but even like if you look at those survival videos, those videos on YouTube where people show you how they survive in the wilderness without anything.
Yeah,
That's one of the things that they do, right? They take water from the
boil
river and
water.
they just boil it and then let
Yeah.
it cool down and they just drink it. So,
Okay.
so that's essentially distillation. You're just cooking it.
Okay.
The other process that smart water goes through, and this is honestly kind of redundant. You don't really need to do this because at that stage you've cleaned up your water pretty well. You don't need to do the second stage. They do purification. So purification is essentially another way of getting rid of any microbiological growth in your water or any impurities that it might have.
Okay.
And there are a slew of ways you can perform purification on water. You mentioned reverse osmosis. So this is one way you can purify water. Essentially, with reverse osmosis, you're essentially pushing your water through a very, very fine membrane or a set of
Okay.
membranes that allow you to remove any impurities and any minerals that are dissolved in your water. Other ways you can do something called UV. You essentially just blow UV light on it and that purifies it.
Okay.
Ozone. Ozone is another very popular way, and that's also used in things like manufacturing, or if you
Mm.
think of shampoos, they have a lot of water. Ozone is one way they can purify that water to make sure there's no bacteria in it. Ozone, you're essentially just blowing ions on your water, and that would kill all bacteria that would exist in it.
So you mentioned that Smart Water does distillation, which I guess everybody does this. And then you mentioned how they do the purification step with a thin membrane, and then which is essentially reverse osmosis. So what's the difference between reverse osmosis and osmosis?
You wouldn't see osmosis is essentially more of a biological natural process that exists in nature. It's essentially
Right.
just the process of absorbing water to, so think of plants when you have a dry plant or a plant that needs watering and you put water, that absorption process, that's essentially what osmosis is. So it's more like an absorption phase. Reverse osmosis, while they sound the same, is you're actively pressuring water to be pushed through a membrane in order to clean it from any impurities or things that are dissolved in it. Osmosis has nothing to do with water production or water bottles, more of a biological thing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So, Smart Water, the manufacturer of Smart Water, do those methods. I'm assuming not everybody follows the same methods. And then the other one is I've heard is adding minerals to it or adding like vitamins to it, or making it more alkaline or alkaline water. What does all that mean? Like, what does that mean in terms of how do you do it and why do they do that?
So, yeah, so actually, that's what Smartwater have on their website as their third and final step, right? It's electrolyte additions. So that's where they add potassium, magnesium, and any other minerals that they have. And this is exactly what makes water brands taste differently. So if you like a specific brand versus the other, this is the reason. It is the type of minerals that they have, and it's the concentration of those minerals that they put in. The idea that I just want to kind of cover that because there's a little bit of misconception in that space is that smart water or any other brand is healthier than tap water. It depends where you live, right? Like if you're living in an area where your water supply is not clean and the
Yeah.
city is telling you this is not safe for drinking, that's a different story. But for a lot of the cities that exist, especially in like developing and developed countries, the city, for the most part, that is a clean and safe to drink water in perpetuity. So the idea or the claim that this water has minerals, therefore it is healthier, it's not really doesn't really work here because the amount of minerals these companies have in the water is very, very small that you can easily get those minerals from your diet, just eating normally and just drinking tap water. I mean, tap water has minerals too. It's not like stripped out of it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So the final thing, right? You UV, you ozone, you got your final water. You want to add electrolytes. What do they do? Just put that final water in a giant tank and add in, let's say, potassium, magnesium. Is that what it's doing? And then there's, do they heat it? Do they
No,
need to heat it, or
no,
is
no,
it
no need
ambient?
because it's already cooked, right? It's already not cooked, but it's already purified. It's already distilled. You just add those ingredients in the tank and you're ready to rock and roll. You just fill it and you have your final product.